This is probably the first time I've said this about the Eagles' defensive line going into a season that it looks very lackluster. Now, don't get over dramatic because of it, because we're just talking about the edge rushing position. Okay. The Eagles have put a lot of faith into a lot of uncertainty at this edge rushing position. Okay. You gave away your sack leader to the New York Jets and HaasonReddick. You signed Josh Sweat on a restructured deal for 13-14, fully guaranteed that it will be his last year in Philadelphia. You're expecting 7 to over 10 sacks with Josh Sweat and being disruptive as hell, and I think he'll have a really good comeback year, as a lot of players will. I think he'll play really well. Bryce Huff gets a big contract at $17 million a year, 43% of the snaps with the New York Jets last year, 10-sack season, first ever. Okay. And I think Bryce Huff is going to be a monster. I have no issue with Bryce Huff at all. I think he's a better scheme fit, and I think the best is yet to come in Bryce Huff's career with more snaps under his belt. Okay. Brandon Graham's going to retire after this year. Nolan Smith, a lot of uncertainty. Didn't do much. You saw the way this coaching staff was last year. Demoting Sean Desai on top of not getting snaps with Sean Desai, demoting him, getting more snaps at the end of the year. It's just not enough for me. And I blame the coaching staff for that, for where Nolan Smith is after his first year, which would have made me a little bit more comfortable to trade away a guy like HaasonReddick, if Nolan Smith did produce, but not his fault. You look at guys like Jalix Hunt from the third round of this year's draft, this past draft that we had. The big mystery player of the draft that was handpicked by Fangio, that we could probably arguably say that he's probably a really good scheme fit for this team, but it's his rookie year. So we know he can get after the quarterback. We know he could drop in coverage, and from a safety turned edge rusher, with his size and where he's at, athletically, he's fantastic. But we need to see this whole thing come together with Jalix Hunt once we get the pads on. So a lot of uncertainty. But the Eagles, at least in my opinion, I feel like they need to add another body. Okay, whether it's free agency like a Yannick Ngakoue or something like that, there has been some rumors coming out on a specific player in trade, and that is Khalil Mack, 33 years old, 7-8 Pro Bowls, over 17 and a half sacks last year, 71 pressures. I mean, fantastic year last year. Now, there was reports from Sports Illustrated that they should at least try trading him after what he had last season. I mean, when a player is 33 years old and you're just at a point now where you want to get, while this player is at the peak of his play at an old age, you want to at least try to get rid of him and get some type of compensation. There have been rumors really since at the end of last year that Khalil Mack could be on the trade block, and that the Eagles might be a potential team that may have a lot of interest during training camp to trade for him. Now, he's got one more year left on his deal. It's probably not going to cost much. I mean, when the Eagles trade for Robert Quinn in 2021 after a 17 and a half, 18 and a half sack season with the Chicago Bears, I mean, he did absolutely nothing. Partially, he was hurt and just did nothing. It was a waste of a fourth-round pick. The Eagles just tried to do something to bolster their defensive line a little bit. It just wasn't enough. But this is purely a rental. This isn't extending him. This isn't anything like that. This is purely getting a guy that has good statistics to this team and helping us win a Super Bowl and just to bolster that defensive line just a little bit. It's not a bad idea, because I don't think this is going to happen before training camp. I think potentially this could be a move during training camp. And obviously the Eagles seeing what they have going forward at that edge rusher position. And obviously Khalil Mack is going to have to be in pass coverage. He's done that in his career. And linebackers, sometimes they age well and sometimes they don't. Sometimes linebackers are just better with certain coaches on better scheme fits. Obviously, Kellen Moore is the offensive coordinator for the LA Chargers, so maybe he knows a little bit more about Khalil Mack and have done their homework a little bit. But he's been in the league a long time, and been productive, but you have to use him the right way. Of what he's best at and putting these guys in successful situations. And I think that's what the Eagles are trying to do here. So really, at the end of the day, I feel like this could be a potential move that could happen. Like I said, Yannick Ngakoue is still out there right now. These older guys, especially, even some guys that go from team to team, like Yannick Ngakoue will get you 5 to 7 to 8 sacks, maybe, on a really, a good year. Now, he was injured last year with the Bears. Rumors that he might go back. Khalil Mack could be another opportunity for the Eagles to really jump on and say, hey, let's just bring a high caliber player with good statistics to the Eagles this year, and just help us win a championship. And that's all I really care about, really, because I'm not trying to replace HaasonReddick. I'm just trying to replace we don't really have another player on this edge rushing position that can get to the quarterback. Really, besides Bryce Huff and Josh Sweat, there's really nobody else. Brandon Graham's going to be in a heavy rotation. How many sacks is he really going to have this year? It's not really even the sack numbers, but do we have enough on this defensive line to be disruptive as we possibly can? Are the Eagles relying too much on a bolstered secondary, which I'm really happy about? There's no doubt about it, because I feel like, yes, we need more athletically sound, well-coached players, drafting DeJean and drafting Quinyon Mitchell and having Ringo and Ricks and, Isaiah Rodgers, just coming in and just killing camp at this point. Mini camp and OTAs, it's a great thing to see. We're seeing a kind of opposite approach now. Like, I feel like they're doing way more with the secondary and less with the defensive line. There's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like we're just not used to it at this point, because we're used to having a more role play type certain players in the secondary that are good at certain things that they do. And having just a deep rotation with the defensive line, as we have had in recent years. Okay. And this is different because, like I said at the beginning of the video, they put a lot of faith into a lot of uncertainty with players that either were not here, that are new, that are rookies, or did not produce last year. And I'm hoping from what we already have that everyone just becomes a superstar. That's my wish. That's all of our wish right now. But what if it's not? What if Jalix Hunt doesn't work out? What if Nolan Smith just doesn't look good? What do you make another move like a Khalil Mack type move? Get a veteran player in here that has good statistics and just, he might want to come to Philadelphia just to try to win a chip if that's what he wants to do. I mean, I don't know how much the Chargers respect him too much in the decision making. Obviously, they want to put him in a good spot. They don't want to put him in a bad spot. It's got to be good on both sides, and when it's fair. But that's really all that's been reported so far on a potential. There's a free agent out there, and that Yannick Ngakoue's been out there, and now these Khalil Mack rumors and other teams have been linked to him, not just the Eagles. But when guys are this old at 33, you want to try to make a move, and at their peak of their play, you want to try to trade them, get value, and to a team, they're going to want to trade Khalil Mack to a contender or something like that. It's not going to cost much. What is it going to cost? The Eagles have 9 picks in the 25 draft. It's going to cost a fifth? Maybe a sixth. I mean, it really can't cost much. I don't care what the stats are. His age is what really matters, because the Eagles are not going to extend him. The Eagles aren't paying him big money after this year. If they trade for him, he plays well. This is purely a rental, and that is it. Next year is next year, but just adding the bolster that side would, with a little bit more depth at the edge rusher spot would be interesting. So that's all I kind of want to talk about today, because I feel like it makes training camp a lot more exciting, because there's a lot of mystery to it. And I can't wait to go over that with you guys when the time comes. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. And we'll be going over more stuff. If you guys haven't checked out the Philly Shakedown Podcast merch, definitely check it out. We have a big release of merch coming out in a few weeks, and you guys are going to be stoked. Put a lot of time and energy into what we've been doing so far. But if you guys haven't checked out the store, link in the description for the store. Go get your men's, women's sleeveless shirts, brand new, already out as of right now. We have the youth t-shirts as well. We have size up to 6XL, black, white, Kelly green, you name it. Go get your merch and rep it. We'll have some big surprises between the end of July to August. A lot is releasing and can't wait to unveil that to you guys when the time comes. But any questions, leave a comment in the comment section below. Do you think Khalil Mack would be a good trade? Do you think the Eagles have enough on this defensive line? You guys let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.